Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we are looking into a project called InstantIR by InstantX. You may already know InstantX by their previous work from SDXL Instant ID or Flux Instant ID. But today we are looking into InstantIR, which helps restore old or damaged photos. It is also able to upscale low resolution images to higher quality images. I will walk you through on how to use this project inside of ComfyUI. Since ComfyUI is flexible, we will be able to connect it with different workflows. Since I found out that InstantIR as a standalone project is often not enough. So here's the project page for InstantIR in ComfyUI. Currently, this tool is still a ComfyUI wrapper, so it will allow us to use the models inside of ComfyUI. Let's go through a quick demo first on how InstantIR works. Here, you can see that I have an example image of a person. It's 256 by 256 pixel, and it has a lot of noise. When you pass this image through InstantIR, here is the result. A higher resolution image at 768 by 768, that's almost 3 times the original size. It can also handle higher resolution. So in this particular case, I am going from 256 to 1024. That's 4x increase in resolution. Now let's take a look at one final example, which I think is one of the best use cases for this project. And we are talking about anime style images. Now, as you can see, this model does an impressive job when it comes to upscaling anime style characters. In this particular case, I am going from 256 to 1024. And I think this comes down to the anime style having less intricate detail. So there is less chance for the AI to hallucinate or add unnecessary, unwanted detail in the final product. Let's go through the installation process. Like I mentioned, I will be using ComfyUI, so I am going to expect you to have ComfyUI installed. In case you do not have ComfyUI installed, I have a video on the channel. You can check it out. I also mentioned how to install ComfyUI Manager, which we will be using later on. All right, so on the GitHub page here, scroll down where you can see the link. Click on the copy button, copy the link. Next, open up the ComfyUI directory. In my case, I am using the Windows Portable version. Then go inside the ComfyUI folder and then inside the custom nodes folder. At the top here, type in CMD and press enter. It's going to open up a terminal or CMD directly inside the custom nodes folder. Next, you can press Ctrl V. Some of you may need to right click and then select paste, or you may have to do Ctrl plus Shift plus V in order to paste. If none of those works, simply type in the command. You will need to type in git clone and then the URL that we copied previously, and then press enter. This will clone the repository directly inside the custom nodes folder. Now, next steps, we'll need to install the requirements, basically the necessary dependencies. Now, go inside the InstantIR wrapper that was cloned. Once inside it, again, go back to the top, type in CMD, and then press enter. It's going to open you directly inside the project directory in the terminal. Now, since we need to install the requirements using the ComfyUI Python, let's go back to the ComfyUI Portable folder, look for the Python embedded folder, go inside and find the python.exe. Right click and choose copy as path. You can also press the shortcut key Ctrl plus Shift plus C. Go into the terminal, make sure that we are inside the project directory and then paste that path. Now, in my case, since I do not have any spaces in my path, I am going to remove the quotation mark. Now, next, type in -m. So press space -m pip install -r requirements.txt and press enter. This will install all the necessary dependencies. In my case, I already have it. Okay, now let's move on to the next section where we need to download all the models for this project. This project will use the SDXL as a base model. So you can download any SDXL model. You can go to Hugging Face to download any of the base Hugging Face SDXL model, or you can go to Civic AI and download any of the community made SDXL model there. Now, next, we'll also need to download the IR checkpoints. To do this, you can go to the project download page, and then you can download each one of these files, all three by the way, by clicking on the download button here. Next, we'll need to set up the folders in order to put those downloaded files in there. So once the download is completed, go into the ComfyUI main folder, look for the models folder, go inside, and then you will need to create a new folder. You can do this by right-clicking, select new, create new folder, or you can go to the top and then click on new, create new folder. Now name this new folder InstantIR. The I in instant is capitalized. There are no spaces, and the IR at the end are also both capitalized. Now go inside this new folder, create a new folder, call it models, all in lowercase. Now remember those three files that we downloaded previously? You will need to copy them, or you can cut it to save on a space and then paste it inside this models folder. Now once you confirm that you have all the files in the correct directory, let's start by building the workflow. So start your ComfyUI and make sure that the InstantIR wrapper is installed correctly. So in ComfyUI, you can right-click, click on Add Node, go to InstantIR. There will be two nodes. Add both. The first one is the loader, and this is what we'll use in order to select all the checkpoints that we've downloaded previously. The next one is the sampler, and we just need to connect the loader with the sampler. The pixel is a simple load image node, and then the output is going to be a preview node or a save node. I'm going to go with a save node. And this is the basic InstantIR workflow that you'll need. Now for the example image, I'm going to use one of the demo image provided with this project. Of course, I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you would like to give the same image a try. Now you can drag the image directly on top of the load image node. Once you release it, it will load the image. Next, we'll need to select the models. The SDXL model, you can choose any SDXL model. I will be using Juggernaut XL. For adapter checkpoints, select the adapter that we had from the list. If it does not appear in the list when you're trying to select it, it means that you've got the directory wrong. So go back, make sure that you have the checkpoints in the correct directory. Aggregator checkpoints is going to be the aggregator one. The InstantIR LoRa is going to be the LoRa weight that we've downloaded previously. The only thing that we are missing right now is this LCM LoRa. And for this, we'll need to go inside the ComfyUI Manager, click on Model Manager. At the top, type in LCM LoRa, and then select the SDXL option. Click on Install. It will ask you to refresh, click on Close, and then at the bottom here, look for this floating panel and click on the refresh button. Now that is it. If you want to use a very basic InstantIR workflow, this is all that you need. Click on the Q prompt, and then let's go into the terminal to see the progress. It will begin loading, and you should see a message in the terminal saying pipeline components. After this, it may take some time. So for me, the first time it appeared to be frozen and I had to leave it there for a couple of minutes. If it is the same for you, do not panic. Just leave it there, come back, and it should be good. Now for this first pass, you can see that the input image was enlarged from 256 to 768 square resolution. The sampler, I'm just using the default setting, which is 20 steps. CFG is at 7. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do in order to get a better result. The first thing would be to tune the parameters in the sampler node. Now, for me, I am going to change the guidance end from 1 to 0.9 and then give it a go. Now, as you can see, this final image is better than the previous one. So I'm going to try again by decreasing the guidance scale further, in this case 0.8, and you can see now we have an improvement. Now next, let's improve the workflow a little bit more, and the first tweak that I will do is to separate this positive prompt. I don't want to keep having to enter the positive prompt manually. So in this case, I am going to add the Florence node. If you do not have it, make sure to go into the ComfyUI manager and install it from there. You can just type in Florence and you will get the node. So I'm going to add the Florence node. By the way, I have a video on Florence in case you need a more detailed guide on it. Please check out the description. We can see what's happening in the backend. So Florence generated this text here. It says black and white photo of a woman. And it got it a little bit wrong. It said that the eyes are closed, even though in the image it's actually open. So for this generation, I'm not expecting a good result, but let's see the output. Okay, so this is a cleaner, sharper result, but as you can see, the eyes are closed. The seed for the Florence is randomized right now. I'm going to click on the generate button once again, and it's going to generate a new positive prompt for it. Okay, now as you can see, the result is better than the previous one. Now next, I'm going to further improve this by connecting this InstantIR to a Flux workflow. Now Flux workflow is recognized for its higher resolution and improved detail. So I'm going to pass the image that was generated with InstantIR over to the Flux workflow. To do this, we just need to have a VAN code and connect it there. Let's give it a go. If we check the system resources here, you can see that both my CPU RAM and GPU RAM is pretty much at its maximum capacity here. All right, so it's completed. Here is a side-by-side comparison. This is the original image, low resolution, noisy. This is after InstantIR. We can see an improvement, and this is after Flux. There is a significant reduction in the noise as well as enhancing the detail. Let's do a different test. In this particular case, I am using an image of a cottage. Same thing, going from 256 all the way to 1024. And this one did not give me a good result, as you can see here. And I'm thinking this is because the original image had too many elements, which a human brain can actually differentiate. So we can think of it as leaves, but for the AI, it's not able to distinguish what's exactly happening in the front. Now, tweaking it a little bit, I was able to go from this cartoony generation to a more realistic image, but you can see that because of the original image, the quality of that original image was so low, the AI was hallucinating a little bit. You can see that it added elements which were previously not there in the original image. Now for a final test, I've also done the second pass with an SDXL model. In my case, it's just the Juggernaut XL model. This workflow is faster because it already loaded the Juggernaut XL model in the InstantIR stage. So if you're having difficulty with the Flux one, you can try out this version. As you can see, the results are, I'm going to say, pretty much the same, or maybe in some cases even better. And here I am testing the anime style, and I have an anime character here, passing it through the workflow, through the SDXL second pass. We can see that it actually improved the image quality quite a bit. So challenges that you'll be facing is if you have a low detail image as the original image, then when you upscale it, there will be some hallucination that's going to happen, some unwanted detail that's going to happen. You can offset it a little bit by prompting manually. So just type in what you would like to see in the final image. You can also decrease the denoising step in the second pass. So in conclusion, this InstantIR is a good project in a good direction, and I can see it being used to restore some old images, especially if you have these black and white images and you'd like to get a higher quality image. All right, so that is it. Thank you for watching until the very end. I really appreciate all the support for the past year. Thank you very much. So take care, have a nice day ahead, and I will see you in the next one.